So how many of you know where the tiny country of Montenegro is, much less have been there? How many of you expect to ever go there? Well, we didn't think we'd ever go there either, but, well, here we are. Montenegro is one of the smallest countries in the world with a population of about 633,000 people. It's located in the Mediterranean Sea, in the Adriatic portion of the Mediterranean Sea, just southeast of Venice, Italy, on the opposite shore, the eastern shore of the Adriatic Sea. Well, now many of you have heard of the country of Yugoslavia, which was located in that general region. But after the fall and the breakup of Yugoslavia, many countries broke off of Yugoslavia, and Montenegro was part of Serbia. But in 2006, it declared its independence from Serbia and became its own nation. Now, olive trees are ubiquitous throughout the area of the Mediterranean. You see them in many, many countries, from Italy all the way to Turkey, down to into the Holy Land. And agriculturally, olive oil production was one of the main products of the region in which Montenegro, the independent country, is now located. So let's go and not only tour a little bit of this region, which is absolutely beautiful. It reminds me of the fjords of Norway and some of the mountains of Switzerland. But let's go visit an old-fashioned olive oil production factory located in the mountainous hills just above Kotor, Montenegro. So here we are, along with my bride of 35 years, in Montenegro, tiny little nation on the eastern side of the Adriatic Sea across from Italy, just north of Albania, south of Croatia. And Montenegro, literally the name means black mountains, because these mountains at one time were covered with black pines, and so they looked black, and hence the name Montenegro, Black Mountain. However, during the time of the Venetian, when Venice, which is just across the Adriatic Sea and a little bit to the northeast, or northwest rather, had this as part of its territory, they pretty much logged off, from what I understand, the black pines, probably to use as supports for the city, the pylons used to build Venice on as it was expanding in the 1500s and in through there. And so these trees, these hills were logged of black pine. Now mostly you see very few pines, mostly deciduous trees, but at the time it was called Montenegro. And you do see some pines up on the hills. There are some stands of conifers up on the hills here. You see the dark bands in between the lighter colored deciduous trees. Hence the name Montenegro. It looks dark, like black.
Just with a simple rain we get the land erosion.
And also maybe when you do a sailing on that peninsula, you should see 5 tunnels for the submarines.
Oh yeah.
$120 Behind you is the modern equipment, which is this day actual. In these places, we have some old olive trees, which is older than 600 or 700 years. In our base, in the Kotor and in the Bay of the River, we find some old antique galleys, which was filled up with the amphoras. which was used for trading the olive oil. This region from the antique time to the medieval period developed economically with the trading of the olive oil and the salt down from the sea swamp which is behind the airport of Tila. Thanks to the olive oil and salt, we actually succeed to preserve the food in medieval time. In the old days, when you have it with some other food which is cooked or prepared, if you want to preserve it, or you put it in the salt, or you put it under the oil to not oxidate. So actually, olive oil, salt, and the things like that was the gold of medieval time because it's helped you to preserve the food. And I said you before that here in this area we have some of the trees which is older than 600 or 700 years. That is only here in this neighborhood. Further down, yesterday you've been in the town of Bar, probably they told you that they inherited in that town old olive tree which is older than 2,400 years and it's still alive. We inherited here in Montenegro the type of the tree for the olives called žutica, which is our local Montenegrin brand. And those 2,000 years old trees, that is of that type. Well, lately, we get in last 30, 40 years, some of the Greek, some of Italian olive trees people like to experiment. But for this ground, for this soil and the climate, this our local žutica actually is the best one. But it is not giving the same results every year. Can pass 2 or 3 years before you have the rich season for getting the olive oil. From one ordinary tree, if it's the normal season, you're getting about 20 liters of olive oil. In the good season, you can get up till 50 kilos of the olive oil, but in the wet seasons, around 10 liters of olive oil. So you need to put lots of the efforts and the work so you can do something. And how the people actually making the olive oil. Now I will tell you how they did it in the old days. In the old days, people was going first to this old area, forest, to they cut the grass. For 2 reasons. First, when you have the clean area, you don't have the snakes. And this Mediterranean coast is very famous that we have plenty of the poisonous snakes. And second of all, when you have the clean grass, then for you it is easy to spot and pick up the olives. In the old days, people was picking up the olives and waiting till they naturally fall down from the tree, because then they was believing that in that time the olives is ready. Today our experts tell us, no, don't collect the olives from the ground when they stay on the soil. They are sucking the acids from the soil, and then you don't have the best quality olive oil. You actually need to shake the tree and collect that what is falling down. Then before, when we was collecting olives, we was waiting for several days to people collect enough olives so they can put it in the process of the production. Today they are not waiting because olive oil is very weak considering thermoresistance. And actually, you need, when you start doing the process of olive oil, to do it as quickly as possible, to substance don't have the time to oxidate. As more time is passing and the substance is oxidating, you are losing the quality of olive oil. And it is the most important to all process pass without any heating, without any temperature. Now, when they are saying on those cooking channels, if you want to eat healthy, you are frying on olive oil. That is a marketing scam. Because olive oil is not thermoresistant. When you heat up olive oil, all the healthy ingredients from it you kill. The olive oil is the healthiest and it is best when it is just pure. My mother, she inherited the health problem because she was working like a manager in one hotel. plenty of the people was irritating, and she get the hole on the stomach here, you know, that very painful hole. And then actually the doctor tell her for 2 months every morning when she wake up, she drink 1 shot of the olive oil. After 2 months, nothing. When they were scanning, everything was brand new. Everything was looking totally cured, without any chemistry, without any special pills or medicine, which is fixing one thing and 2 other things they broke down. Well, now we go back on the olive. Olive oil, we also like to use it in the summertime for browning our skin. Actually, we take the olive oil and then inside we put some herbs that our grannies knows which ones to combine, hold it on the sunshine, and then during the summertime, our grannies, when they get brown color of the skin, they use olive oil with that plant. And still, it is very, very popular. Now we go back on the olive oil production. When we're picking up the olives, when we have them, all of them, then actually we need to wash them with the cold water to put all the dust away from them. And then that's going with the olives here, in this area. In the old days, we didn't put that hard thing from the olive out. We put it all together. Today, in these modern machines, they have the thing which is putting that hard core outside of the olive, because also those hard cores can give the bitterness to the taste of the olive oil. After we mix and crush the olives, you're getting something like a pate. And that pate, we like to fill up in a small mess. Here we have it one. And then, like on the sandwich, you spread the pate over this thing, and you start to put them one on each other. And when you filled up all of this with the olive pate inside, then you're starting with this press. And also we have the water, which is dripping cold water, and then all olive oil and the water together is coming here, usually in one basket where they collect it. Water is heavier, so water is going down, oil is lighter, so it is going up. Then people collected it and stored it usually now in the inox barrels. Before, we like to store it in the stone barrels like this one, because they're the best to prevent oxidation. Today, in the modern time, like the wine, we hold it in the rostri, in the inox barrels. And what is the interesting thing? It is interesting thing, for example, some of the villagers, they like to come here and use the service of this mill. For the service, they are not paying with the money. They are paying with the olive oil. From this machine, first 2 liters of olive oil is going for the mill, rest is going to the oil. And that is the rule which have it for several hundred years. My dear and beautiful people, here on this TV, they play the movie that you can see it how originally all of this is used, and that's what I tell you, that you don't need to imagine, you can see it.
See the olive oil coming out of the press. They put the pate in there and the olive oil just, look at that. And so the mats, they strain out all the pits and this is for storing the olives. Dumping the olives in there and grinding them with these stones, and putting the mash into these mesh with the press, and the press presses down on these mats and the olive oil drips out. Looking down on the old city fortress area of Kotor, looking down from the Kotor fortress, which overlooks the old city. There's the church in the late 1100s. Some of the city walls right there. Scan up here. It's all part of the fortress. Overlooks the harbor. Which is up there. So we got out of Kotor, Montenegro just in time. We're gonna get a nice storm here. The lightning's about 4 miles away. There's some more in the background. So now the thunder and lightning is just over us. The mountains are getting angry. The clouds ominous. It's raining. The heavens are roiling, bidding us farewell in their curious kind of a way. Now you can't even see the port. So clouded in.